off-season?
Yeah, he's been going good. Lost weight, and he's still got a few pounds to go, but he's got a couple weeks to get there. So we got to set a little goal, and he's working towards it and conditioning well. Everything seems to be going pretty good.
He seemed to be taking it, I guess, more seriously as maybe than he did, or I guess he's got the seriousness that you wanted.
Well, he's always been very serious about football. Very intelligent, knows what to do, plays two positions, just figuring his body. Just can't compete at that level at the weight he came in here at. And he's realized that and found that out. So, sometimes they have to see it for themselves, So that's the way it is sometimes.
Does he have a target weight?
Yeah, we have to be under 340.
Coach Junior was telling us earlier this season that he thought that Gage Cervenka might sort of fill that Christian Wilkins leadership role. Like, what's Gage like, and what do you guys like about him?
Gage is tremendous. He has a great sense of humor. Keeps everything light. Pretty good at mocking me. So, but he's a very serious football player. Obviously, strongest guy on the team. I mean, that's pretty much hands down. Can run. He can do all the things. His only shortcomings is the lack of offensive opportunities, because he's played defense all his life. But he's going to be. I look for him to be the main cog this year in the wheel. So.
How much of his wrestling background does that strength come from?
Well, I love wrestlers. He's got good balance on their feet. That's just been my experience over all my years that usually wrestlers are really good with their hands and feet, and so that's always a great input. John Simpson was a really good wrestler. Will Putnam, really good wrestler. So all those things we look to see.
How many offensive linemen, percentage-wise, do you think that come through their wrestlers?
Lord, I wouldn't know how to begin to answer that. I'm sure I'd miss one, but the ones I just mentioned wrestle. I'm sure we got some others, but all those won state championships. So, pretty neat.
Any surprises in the incoming class, or who you're most shocked with improvement-wise?
Surprises? No. Obviously, I expect a lot of them when they come. Unlike most people, I don't go by them stars they put by their name. That doesn't concern me. One of the guys that has progressed as much as any of them is Jordan McFadden. He's really coming on. He's going to be something very special. So.
Trying to refresh my memory. He was right.
Yeah, he redshirted, so he's a little bit. Talking about Jordan McFadden, he's a little bit behind mentally, just because of the lack of reps, because he was on the scout team. But he really had a great spring, and he'll compete for one of the starting spots at tackle.
One of the starting spots.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, ain't nothing set in stone now. So, listen, he's very capable. He can step in and play either side right now. So, but
sorry if you already answered this, but
excuse me.
Sorry if you already answered this or asked this. If you already asked this question, is Blake going to be able to push Jackson for that left tackle?
Blake certainly is. He's up to 315 pounds now, so he's been able to maintain the weight. He's holding it. Obviously, you all know by now, all mine play two positions. It just helps them learn faster and gives them more opportunities as well. But Blake can play guard and tackle and either side. So very, very smart. He's learned the system pretty good. Still a lot to learn for every one of them, because everything's changing daily. But it's pretty neat to see what he's done. I think he actually weighed in at 316. And now that's not official weight yet because we don't have official weigh-in, but
Right.
I was glad to see he was holding it pretty good.
What were some of the factors you saw out of Pollard in the spring that maybe edged him ahead of Cervenka at that center position?
Well, now nobody said he edged ahead of Cervenka at the center position. Okay, Cervenka can't play both spots at the same time, guard and center. So, but Sean has played all three spots, and he's just so smart. He knows what to do, probably as well as anybody out there, if not better. And he wanted that challenge of playing center, so and that helped us give a little more stability there, a little more bulk at guard, because Gage is 325 pounds, so that's the thing. So we're versatile there. Gage can move over center, Sean can move at guard. And then we also have Cade Stewart that can play both positions. So he's really having a great summer. He's maintained his weight and gone up. He's over 300 pounds and pretty consistent.
Is this line one of the more flexible you've had? What you're talking about being able
Probably so. That's a good question. If you sit down and look at each individual one, some of them I've never asked to play two positions, even though they could. All these have done it in practice or in a game. Let me go right down the line. Tremaine's played both sides in a game. Gage played center and guard. Sean's played all three. John Simpson's played tackle and guard. Jackson's played tackle and guard, all in the process. I haven't moved Jordan around too much, just to let him get his feet on the ground mentally. And Blake's played both positions in a game. So we're a little more diverse there, I guess you'd say.
Do you move these guys around because they have the abilities to do so, or do you do that with an eye on injuries are going to happen? Obviously, you're going to need to replace guys here and there in the future, and that obviously gives you some more options.
I think it's a combination of both. We like athletic guys that have that capability, but injuries always occur. Like I explained to them in the recruiting process a lot of times, would you rather be second team tackle or starting guard? It's just some guys are adamant when they come in, I want to play this position. Well, okay, you could get pigeonholed there too if you're not careful. What are you going to do if you want to go on to the next level one day? They don't ride along with about 7 of them. Everybody's got to play a couple of positions. So, but I think it also helps them learn the responsibilities of everybody and gel together a little bit. Knock on wood, that was one thing last year. We didn't turn many people loose. And if we might get beat, but if you account for them, you don't have many tackles for a loss. That's why we're in the top 5 in the country, I think. I'm not a statistic man. I'm a W&L man.
Where does Chandler Reeves fit in to this offensive line puzzle?
Chandler Reeves, we moved him into guard. He does a little better with his hand on the ground, but he's going to continue to do both. Standing up has been a little bit of change for him. He played a lot out of 4-point stance in high school. So that's been it's like you trying to learn a new language. It's a little bit different. So I think that's been fun for him. I see a smile on his face and a little more fun at practice. And, I think he's enjoying it. So he tells me, and I'm enjoying what I see the progress he's making.
What's the next step for Will Putnam?
Will Putnam, the verdict's still out. Hasn't been here really long enough. He's played guard while he was here. I don't doubt that he could probably play a little bit at tackle. It's just it's such a learning curve. They don't realize how much they have to know. It's not about you just block him. There's so many things that enter into it. Next to the quarterback, they probably have to learn more than anybody, or maybe more than him. I don't know. But every time a man moves 6 inches, that changes our footwork, and whether you can handle that or not. And then some people, in the crowd, a little different. So our spring game, biggest crowd some of them ever been in front of. So those are the thought process. And it's kind of hilarious sometimes as you watch people, what they think and say just because this one said that or that one said this. And it all starts over.
Philosophy-wise, old Georgia Tech used to have line splits like this. Mike Leach has line splits like that. Where do you stand on how big your line splits are? Are you kind of in the middle, Tiger?
Well, yeah, kind of in the middle. The hard part is when you adjust on every play. Well, people recognize what you're doing, what's going on. So there's a lot of factors that enter into it. Ours is based on how quick we are. If we're faster at this position, I always tell them, hey, you better know what your partner's capable of. Because if he can't cover that gap, then you better tighten down. Because we're all in it together. So we have pretty standard. We usually go about 2 foot across the board.
Who do you think some of your fastest offensive linemen are?
Oh, that's a great question. I think maybe Gage might have ran the fastest. Then I think it's Tremaine. I'm not really certain, but Coach Batson times them, and for me, it's more about what can he do in this confined area. Because if we're gonna get in a foot race to win the game, we're gonna recruit different type people. But we're more in a bullying match, so we got to have quickness, and so. But that's a good question. I think Gage is probably. Well, I don't know. See, we haven't timed Mason, and Mason Trotter can really run. We got several. They're all pretty fast for offensive linemen. Put it that way.
Aside from the obvious experience, what's some of the intangibles, the biggest things you're going to miss about the first year and 4 years without having Mitch Hyatt anchoring that side?
I'm going to tell you, you get awful spoiled. Mitch Hyatt, I didn't have to worry. He was on the best player most of the time. Never was a concern. Because I knew what you were going to get from him every play. And, it was such a joy. He never said a word. If he asked a question, he had something that he wanted to get answered because, he was very attentive, knew what was going on, learned, very competitive, loved to compete. So that's a great question. It's going to be different. And then, we've been spoiled with just like we had Jay Guillermo now, Justin Papsanelli, missing him. He got pretty consistent. Nobody even knew of him. And but the reason they didn't, we asked him to move to a position he'd never done, and he took to it and was really good at it. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun trying to place that continuity, replace it. So. Hope we can.